Hey everybody, welcome back to the Florida Keys History and Discovery Center. My name is Blake, and we are here at our Mote Marine Laboratory exhibit, and we're going to be talking about what happened with our lobster a couple of weeks ago. So everybody knows our famous lobster, Larry, a Florida spiny lobster, and a couple weeks ago, he decided he was going to molt. And that is perfectly natural for the Florida spiny lobster to molt. And we were able to predict that he was getting ready to molt. So about 3 weeks ago, Larry stopped eating. And when they stop eating, that's a sign of them getting ready to molt. So as soon as he goes off of his food, we start keeping track and preparing for his molt to happen. So in front of me, I have a couple of Larry's molts. So this molt over here is from December. This was Larry's second molt in captivity. And this molt right here is his molt from 3 weeks ago. So what happens, like I said, is he'll go off of food for a week prior to his molt, and that'll help him to shrink down inside of his shell and give him room to pull himself out. So he goes off of food, and we can expect it anywhere between 5 days to 10 days for it to happen. Came in one morning, and we see that we have what looks like 2 Larrys in our tank, one of them being his molt. So we'll take a closer look at these molts here, and we can see exactly how Larry is able to get himself out. So we have here the front portion and the back portion. This is the carapace here, and this is the abdomen. And what Larry will do is he'll pull himself out right there at that connection. And that's how he pulls himself out of his old molt. And you can see it's basically a spitting image of the lobster. So he'll pull himself out of his molt, and he'll take in a whole bunch of water. And that'll help him grow and get nice and large and let his new shell harden over him. So he takes in all that water, he lets his new shell harden over him, which takes a couple of hours, and then he'll get rid of that excess water, and he has room to grow for about the next 6 months. At his age, he's about 4 or 5 years old. He's molting every 6 months. So we're on a perfect track, in December and then in June. He's doing that at a good time frame. So we could expect the next molt to happen probably sometime in December of this year. So he's all back to normal now. It's been 3 weeks since he's molted. He's very ready for his lunch today. And like I said, he's about 4 to 5 years old right there. It's kind of tough to tell a lobster's age because as they get older, they molt less. They're not growing as much. But for the Florida spiny lobster, we think that they live to about 15 years old. That's about their average lifespan. So Larry still has quite a few years left on him. And we do know that he is a Larry, a boy, because we can tell by his hind legs. If we were to take a look here at our molt, if we were to look at these back sets of legs here, if he were a female, he would have a set of claws. And they would use those to tend to their eggs underneath their abdomen, where they would store them here if they were a female. So we do know it is a boy lobster. But we are going to...
Hey, Blake, what is the size difference between, can we tell how much he grew in that time period?
question was whether we could tell whether there was any size difference. It's kind of tough. I really wish I would have formed the two shells so I could do a better side by side, but I'm gonna do a nice progression from here on out so we can get a good size comparison. He grew a little bit. It's not gonna be anything extravagantly noticeable, but a few inches. You can really tell on his antennae. We got a good couple inches growth on them from December to June. But everything else, if we were to compare the tails here side by side, you really don't see much growth. It kind of almost looks like it's smaller, but that's just because of the way that they hardened. So like I said, it's tough to tell the age of a lobster because there just isn't much growth difference in the 6 months that we have to compare. But Larry looks like he's climbing up top. He's getting ready to come on over to get his shrimp for the day. So if we can get Larry to climb on over, we'll hand him his shrimp and he'll be on his way. But as you know, 1 o'clock every day I feed these guys, so I'll go ahead and I'll dump in their normal feeding for the day. All right, so Larry is over here. He's going to get his shrimp. So for anybody who may have tuned in on World Oceans Day when we announced our coral nursery at Bud and Mary's, that was the first day that we noticed Larry wasn't eating. So like I said, as soon as he goes off his food, we know a molt is coming. So it was actually live there on World Oceans Day that we first learned Larry was getting ready to molt. All right, I believe that is going to wrap it up for our video for today, our Facebook Live. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We will make sure to keep you updated on any exciting news that is happening in our aquariums and in our museum Like I said, it'll be a few months before Larry decides to molt again, but trust me, we will let you know when it's getting ready to happen, and we will make sure to keep the molt so that we can definitely do a size comparison and see how big he's grown since then. But to wrap it up, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you in a month. Thanks.